You know, for the longest time, I felt like I was stuck in this constant, uninspired loop with my worship guitar playing and the chord voicings, and my overall sound just felt a little mundane and boring. And I really longed for something that could come along and just spark my creativity. And then thankfully, I made this subtle yet game-changing discovery, which is really a small and simple tweak, but when you apply this, it will take basic triads and morph them into super dynamic voicings that really breathed some new life into my playing. Now, when you pair this with the right rhythms, then it really makes for some awesome guitar parts. And if you're curious about what that tweak is, well, stay tuned, because this simple adjustment might just be the key that sparks some creativity and fun in your playing. So let me go ahead now and play the parts so you can hear it and see it in action. And then afterwards, we'll break it all down note for note.
4.
Alright, so there you go. We basically used 4 different approaches over that 1-4-6-5 progression. Now, the purpose of this really is for me to teach the concept. So we've put in extended chord changes. So you're on that D kind of twice as long as you would typically be, and the same for all the chords. And then secondly, I was very repetitive within the concepts that I used, just so that you can really see it in use. When I play this on a Sunday or on a recording, I probably would change things a little bit to get some more variety in there. But the purpose here is for me to be able to transfer the thinking, the technique, and then the actual voicings on the guitar so that you can go ahead and put it to use in your own playing. So let's start with the first part. You know, traditionally, if I were to just play triads, I would play D, G, B minor, and A. But when I do it like that, those are like your plain vanilla triads, nothing wrong with that. But we want to add some color and spice and emotion. So what I opted to do there is using what I call my triad transformation technique. We've done a whole video about that to show you how you can take basic plain vanilla triads and come up with a whole host and variety of different chord voicings that can add some drama, some tension, and some emotion to your playing. So let me show you what happened there. Instead of playing a standard D triad, I took this D triad, and this is an A note, that I moved down to the previous note in the scale, which then gave me this. If I played with a neck pickup. So that's a D add 4. That's a triad that I used for D. Then when we went to G, instead of playing a plain vanilla triad for G major, I did a G sus9. So I took the B note and I took it down to the A. And to kind of make that a little bit more interesting, when I started the line, I was obviously here on the 11th fret. So I did a hammer on. All right, You probably have heard that a lot from U2. So there's my first chord. My second chord. Then my third chord actually looks like a D major triad, but I'm playing it over a B minor chord, which makes this B minor 7. This is a B minor triad. So that same B note, I'm taking that to A. Over that B minor. So that's a B minor 7. And then when we went to A, instead of playing a normal A triad like this, I took the third up a fret from C sharp to D to give me an A sus4. So those are 4 tweaked triads. Like I said, there's a detailed video that show you how to come up with these triads, but that's my voicings that I chose to use for the most part for this example. Now, voicings in and of themselves, they are just notes. And to make those notes come alive, you need to add some cool rhythms and phrasing and articulation to that. So for this one, I opted to make it interesting from a rhythmic perspective. So my rhythm that I played went like this. And you can hear in the track that I'm mimicking some of the stuff that's happening from the drum groove. And then that same rhythm that I'm using there, that's basically the rhythmic pattern. If I clap that, it'll be second chord. All right, we've got all that in the tabs. You can also check out the description there. But basically, if I do that rhythm on all 4 chords, it sounds like this. And what's happened there is you can clearly hear that we've spiced up the voicings. Instead of using plain vanilla voicings, we've got some voicings that have some character and personality. And then secondly, I used a rhythmic pattern that by its repetitive nature, it really brings everything together. Sometimes people have some cool chords that they might play, but there's not a definitive rhythmic pattern behind it, and then the notes don't have the same impact that they can end up having. All right, so there you go. That's the first part, just kind of setting the stage. You can do so much with these voicings. If the picking is too much for you right now, you can just strum the notes together like this over the backing track as well. But now we've looked at the chords and we've looked at a cool rhythmic pattern. Then as I was playing this, I thought, well, what if I do something that's a lot more rhythmic, a lot more syncopated? And then I came up with this pattern. You can hear it's almost the opposite of what I've just played. The first one is very open. It's a kind of thing that you can play in a verse. It doesn't take up a lot of space. But the second one is a lot more busier. It's also fairly syncopated. So you can use that when you want to add some momentum to the song and take your guitar part to not just be the actual notes, but to level it up from a rhythmic point of view. So the second time around, I went for this kind of picking pattern. Right, it sounds a lot different, obviously, with the groove, but that, in essence, is the part that I'm playing. So if I clap that rhythm, it'll sound like this. Right, so you can hear it's very syncopated, and if I play that with the notes, you can hear obviously with the delay, it adds a lot of vibe to that as well. Let me go ahead and just play it once without the delay.
A few moments later.
So obviously if you look at someone like The Edge, he uses the delay to actually become part of the guitar parts that he's playing. But let's listen to that same rhythm now without the delay. And that in essence is the part. You can hear it makes a big difference obviously when I add the delay in, but there's quite a few things happening here. So let me just quickly show you the order in which you're going to pick the strings. Again, all of this is in the tab together with the tracks. We can see the rhythms and all that kind of good stuff. Just click the link in the description, tell us where to send it, and we can send all of that stuff over to you. All right, so I have to look at my tabs here so I can actually explain to you what I did. I played strings 3, 2, 3, 1. So 3, 2, 3, 1. Then 2, 3, 2, 3. So 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. All right, and my final two notes will be 1, 2. So altogether, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then that same thing on all the chords. And when you hear that with the track and the delay, then the part really comes to life. So that's the picking pattern and the rhythm. Now let's look at the muting technique. I'm using palm muting in my right hand and string muting in my left hand. So in my right hand, you can hear that all the notes are muffled because I've got this karate chop style muting happening on my hand. To kind of give me that palm muted, nice, tight and focused sound. But then look at what's happening on my left hand, my fretting hand. Every time I play a note, after I fret the note and after I pick it and the note rings out, I release my fretting hand pressure. And by doing that, I'm not letting all the notes ring. If I let the notes ring, it will sound like this. You can hear it's very messy, sometimes letting notes ring. Sometimes letting notes ring can add a vibe, but it's almost the same as hitting a sustain pedal on a piano. But in this case, because it's so busy and even a dirty tone, and I've got delays adding a lot more sound to the whole mix, I want to be a little bit more precise with my technique. And that's why I let go of my fretting and pressure. So it's almost like a squeeze and release. Every time the note rings, I squeeze and release. Squeeze, the note rings, I release, and then I pick the next ones. And without the squeeze and release, it sounds like this. Without the palm muting and the squeeze and release, it sounds like this. But if I add my palm muting and the squeeze and release, then it sounds a lot more open. And as you can imagine, I'm actually making space for that delay to do its thing. So there we go. That was now the rhythm that I used, the palm muting, the squeeze and release, together with the voicings that we've looked at. And you can actually see how that all came together. All right, so there you have two different approaches making use of these triad transformations. Again, like I said in the link description, is going to be a link if you want to learn more about those kind of voicings. You can also grab the tabs, check the link in the description together with a track that we used here. But there you have two cool parts, one a more open part, another one a bit more driving rhythm part, you can use this in a variety of different ways with different voicings and whatever the case may be. So it's something that can become a staple of your rhythm guitar playing. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn how to take these elements that I've done and combine kind of a lead guitar perspective together with this, then what you want to go ahead and do is check out the next video in this series. As soon as it's available, we'll link it right there, and then you can see how to combine your rhythm guitar and your lead guitar parts together. And if it's not out yet, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and we'll let you know as soon as we release video 2 in this brand new series.